know what, the peons that we are, as mere peons, media members and what have you, what right do we even have to ask him, why he's not showing up to work or anything like that, considering the fact that he's getting paid $35 million to play this season? I mean, who the hell are we to ask such a question, Jay? So I would say I have no answer to that question, but more importantly, what I would caution you, Jay, is to keep in mind that you might not have the right to ask that question because, you know what, you're just not significant enough to ask such a question, Jay. So, I mean, he's Kyrie Irving. So we have to, just bow at the altar of Kyrie Irving and let him come out there and play, when he wants to play.
That's a great point.
Wait a minute, Zubin.
What do you got,
I want to
Key?
go, too.
Go ahead, Key.
Slow it down, Zubin. I want to – Stephen A., tell me what to expect from your new show, Stephen A. World, man. Real premiere today on ESPN+. Give me something quick.
Well, first of all, you got the baby Stephen there. You're going to see Love Doctor that I stole from Martin Lawrence from years ago. You're going to see a lot of fun stuff going on. I'm going to bring a little levity, a little lightheartedness to the show because ultimately I have dreams of doing late-night television sometime in the future. So this is, I'm still going to do me. I'm going to bring my sports takes and things of that nature. But for me personally, Key, on this level, the big thing that makes it such a big deal for me is that not only am I hosting the show, I'm the executive producer of the show, and my production company is co-producing it in concert with ESPN. So this is something that I waited pretty much my entire career to have happen for me. So I'm incredibly excited. It's all on my shoulders. I got an A-team. They're big time, and it's just about me in front of that camera now with the team that I've got assembled. So it's a great, great thing, and I owe a debt of gratitude to all the honchos here at ESPN who've looked out for me and given me the staff that I need in order to be successful. And now I'm in a position to make some things happen, and that's my goal.
I'm coming back as Stephen A. Smith when I check out.
Congrats, S.A.
Congrats, baby.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot, y'all.
Yes, and we should mention for Stephen A., it'll be great to see what happens.
Well, now what you do is you just play, the narrative is that, he goes out there and he plays football. Now it's about him and the Ravens as opposed to it being just about him. Even though that Ravens defense did their thing yesterday, they were absolutely sensational in neutralizing Derrick Henry and making Ryan Tannehill do something he couldn't do, which he ended up not being able to do. The reality is that Lamar Jackson, although he didn't go out there and throw for 300-plus yards or whatever, those wheels that he has is something special, and we know that he's an elite dual threat. And because of that, you're able to look at him and you look at the Ravens now. It was really about him yesterday. If they had lost this game, no matter what the reasons would have been, it would have been on Lamar Jackson because he's the face of the franchise, the quarterback, the reigning league MVP who couldn't win a playoff game. Now that he's gotten that monkey off of his back, now it's about just going out there and playing football. And the Ravens just going out and playing football. And collectively, we're able to look at them and say, hey, okay, they either win or they lose. And we can dissect more of the game as opposed to locking in and zeroing in on him. He's been relieved of that kind of stress after yesterday's victory.
S.A., I know you love the MIA. I know you love South Beach. Both you and I were disappointed that we couldn't be there last year.
Tell me about
the Eastern Conference Finals. How do you see this Deshaun Watson issue playing out in Houston? Does he end up down in Miami, or where do you see him going?
In a perfect world, I would love for him to end up down in Miami. I haven't been fond of the Texans organization since they kept getting rid of one executive or one coach after another while keeping Bill O'Brien when it was clear years earlier that Bill O'Brien needed to go because of some of the moves that he was making as a GM. And then when he let go of DeAndre Hopkins and traded him to Arizona, that was the last straw to me because it wasn't just the chemistry that him and Deshaun Watson had with one another as quarterback to receiver. Remember, they both came from Clemson. They're both alumni members from there. They're both starred at the university. They were great, great friends. And you just don't disrupt that under any circumstances if you value Deshaun Watson as your quarterback. The fact that that was allowed to happen, I don't just put that on Bill O'Brien. I put that on the entire organization. And then for Deshaun Watson to give recommendations, for those recommendations to be ignored, for the ownership to, retain a company, to search for a GM and then still go out and go against their recommendation to hire Caserio from New England. Those are all problematic things. And so if you're Deshaun Watson, you're looking at this franchise, you see the direction that they're going in, and they basically had, it appears to be, particularly since they paid him, that they had this shut up and dribble mentality when it comes to Deshaun Watson. We're paying you this money to play football. Go out there and play and leave the decision making to us. Well, that's not something that's going to vibe with him. I don't blame him. And then when we see what an African American like Chris Greer is doing as a general manager in Miami, when we combine that with the job that Brian Flores as an African American is doing as the head coach, they're clearly forward thinking. They're moving in a forward direction. We know Stephen Ross in terms of his history and his contributions to the African American community and some African American causes as well. Deshaun Watson clearly is not just about football. He's about something more than that. And the Texans don't appear to be of that ilk, combined with the fact that not only do you not appear to be of that ilk, but evidently you don't know how to win too many football games either. Even J.J. Watt probably wants out of there. This is a sinking ship. And as far as I'm concerned, Deshaun Watson should want to be gone. If I'm the Texans, obviously I don't let that go because he's one of the top 5, top 6 quarterbacks in the leagues as far as I'm concerned. But if there's a way for me to get out and I'm Deshaun Watson, I get the hell up out of there, and I would love to see him near South Beach. I just don't think the Texans will let that happen.
It's an interesting point you bring up, Chris Greer and Brian Flores. By the way, I'm sure you know this, Stephen A., but it's interesting when you think about it. It is the only GM head coaching pairing of both African Americans in the entire National Football League. So that is something to keep heed as well. Again, Stephen A's, he's everywhere. Stephen A's World premiering today exclusively on ESPN+. Always manning the desk on First Take at 10 a.m. Eastern time today. So we softened you up on the Steelers questions. Whoever give you those body shots the rest of the way, you're rared and ready to go, my man.
Hold on, Zubin.
What you got?
Hold on. I got to ask SA one last question. SA, will we see Kyrie Irving again this season? What's going on, man?
Well, that's a good one.
What's going on with
Of course, you'll see Stephen A. on First Tech at 10 a.m. Eastern time like you do every Monday through Friday. The fellows wanted me to make sure this was the first question. I'm going to phrase it exactly the way they wanted me to phrase it. What happened to your Steelers last night?
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. You know, see, this is what happens when you got boys, man. You know, Keyshawn's been my boy for years. Jay Will's been my boy, and see, this is you let people inside and you let them know, and then they use this moment, this opportunity. You know, my show debuts today, and the first question they're gonna throw at me is about the Steelers and how they wet the bed. Ben Roethlisberger. Oh damn. It was bad. It was no question about it. For them to be down 28-0 in the first quarter was absolutely disgusting and depressing. And knowing that Juju Smith-Schuster opened his mouth, prematurely, showing his youth, his immaturity. Good guy, good player, but damn, you just don't do what he did because to me, when you open your mouth like that, you need to be a boxer, a UFC fighter, a golfer, a tennis player, etc. When you play for a team, you can only speak for yourself. You can't vouch for everybody around you. Something could end up going wrong. And in Juju Smith-Schuster's case, Big Ben Roethlisberger was what went wrong, at least early on, and that was really the difference in this game. It's unfortunate, but again, we saw it because the Steelers lost 5 of their last 6 games and 4 of their last 5 in the regular season. The handwriting was on the wall, and, chickens came on the roost.
So let me ask you this, Stephen A.